we can't even say things the way things are now. We have to be so careful with the way. Yeah. Oh my God, people are just so sensitive these days. It's strange. You know, I talked to one of a wealthy individual in Dubai.
Yeah.
And it was a female.
Okay.
And she was just so upset over the feminism that was happening in the US. I don't really want to get into this topic. It's not something that I'm passionate about.
Go for it.
But it seemed to be something that a lot of other countries are noticing in the West. And if you really talk to people who are doing well, they all agree that feminism has done worse things than good. But they will not talk about it because we want to save our faces. You know what I mean?
Well, let's get into it. Let's go for it. I know exactly where you're coming from, and I think I do understand why it's created more of a problem, because previously, let's go back maybe even one generation or maybe even two.
Yeah.
So if I can only really relate this back to the UK, but you know, in the 1940s, there was the, testing my history now, Second World War, right? And I think that was a time when men were going to war, the women were staying at home looking after the children, and everyone had such a clearly defined role.
Yeah.
You know, the men were going out and fighting for the country, and the women were staying home and mothering and looking after the children and making sure everyone was okay. As time progressed, we've slowly drifted away from people having roles, and I know it's we're not currently living during a time of war, at least not in the UK. So I know, you know, many countries are right now, and I'm not to say that the war was what provided that structure, but I think over time we've drifted further and further away from that structure, and there's no clearly defined roles anymore. The cost of living has also increased significantly because the value of the pound has gone down due to inflation and due to the banks printing money. So what you have is this scenario where the roles aren't clearly defined anymore. The cost of living has increased, so women also need to work now. Not to say that women didn't work in the 40s, I don't know, but I know that they were definitely looking after the children at that time, and it was typically the role of the man to provide for the family. But as we drift further and further away from that and the cost of living increases, women are now having to work to assist with the cost of living and providing also on, you know, being able to purchase a house, being able to put food on the table and things like that. It's becoming more and more difficult for the average man to cover that with his salary. So now you have this confusion of roles where both the male and the female are providing for the household. And yet previously it would just be the women's role to protect and to look after the child while the man provides. And then I think this is where there's this confusion, especially with that kind of like narrative now of like, you don't need a man, you can kind of do this on your own and all this kind of stuff. Like, if you truly believe that, then good luck to you. But I think it's a normal thing to have
all
a man and a woman.
All those sayings come from anger, right?
Yeah.
It comes from like, I need to be empowered as much as men. It's all of frustrations. Those sayings come from a ill origin, you know, in the frame of the mind.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, who really knows how, like, what way it's going to go or how it's going to play out? I can only really give my perspective on it. I mean, what do you think about the whole situation?
Well, I can tell you, when I came to Dubai, things became very clear to me. So beautiful women are everywhere, and amazing guys are also everywhere. And women just expect you to take care of them, and that make me feel good. No, I want to take care of them. I want to do everything. I want to be this confident guy, charismatic, and someone that other guys want to be like, you know, just man of competence.
You are all of those things.
Well, so at the same time, I started having this standard that it's normal for women to be beautiful. When I was in Australia or in other places, I would see a beautiful woman and I would feel that, oh, she's beautiful, man. Oh my gosh, she's so, like, I have to like go talk to her or something. Here, they're everywhere. They really look after themselves. And it feels normal. And it almost feels like, of course it's my job to be this amazing guy. And on the flip side, I think it makes sense for them to perhaps feel like, of course it's my job to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to say that, if that feels controversial, there's something wrong there in the whole frame of mind.
Yeah.
So I am not very fond of feminism, but I don't stir up the pot when I don't need to. Like like I can see in a lot of female friends' mindsets, the feminism is very deeply rooted in there. I don't go out of my way to say, hey, I don't think that's how you should think. I just accept them as they are. I want them to be happy. So that's where I stand.
Do you not feel as though also you should be able to give your opinion on it without like snap back? Because I feel like
I only want to talk about it if they want to learn about it or want to change about it. Because people are not convinced, I don't think. They will believe what they want to believe. And if they are somewhat open-minded and the conversation flows in a positive way where they can fathom the possibility that feminism is not good for them, I will then bring it up. But I don't go out of my way, hey, I see feminism there, let me talk about this and change you.
No, of course. I think a good question to ask someone that has that mindset is, why do you feel this way? I think that would be a good thing to understand, because are they just saying it based on something else that they've heard and that they agree with and they think, yeah, this is right, this is the right way of thinking? I think that would be my question. And maybe they've got an instant answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But hey, that's life, right? Everyone's can have their own opinions, and that's just what keeps things moving, I guess.
Yeah.